How the heck do we go from this liquid junk to this Cassian Andor's blaster from the TV show Andor on Disney Plus? How? Like I said, guys, we're about to make Cassian Andor's blaster from the TV show Andor, now streaming on Disney Plus, aka a while ago. But it's a cool show. I loved it, loved the props, loved almost everything about it. But I especially loved this blaster, so I made it. Have you discovered 3D printing? I've recently discovered 3D printing, and it's freaking magic. It's freaking magic. You can make anything, almost anything. It's fantastic. This liquid resin turns into this with just a few steps. We're gonna go through the steps. Not a lot, but you get it. I recently purchased an Elegoo Saturn 8K 3D printer off of Amazon. You ever heard of it? Came with the cure station and the wash station. Amazon had it on sale, and I had to pull the trigger. I'll put a link to what I bought in the description. I'm gonna be using this ABS-like Anycubic resin, and it's in the black color. Worked great for this. I found the files that I used for this Andor blaster on Etsy. I paid like $6 or $7 for it, and I'm gonna put the link to it in the description. Loaded the files, threw them into Box, sliced them up in my software, tossed them over to the 3D printer, and started printing. Once all my parts were printed, we were ready to go, and let's go. All these pieces kind of came out great. Obviously, they're gonna come together like so. Printed out a ton of these little pins, and these little pins essentially hold everything together. I'm gonna use E6000 as well for my adhesive, I think, as well as some CA glue per usual. I'm pumped. Let's just prep it. We're gonna start sanding the freaking dickens out of everything, making sure everything's nice and flat, and then obviously we have good points of attachment when we start to glue everything together. So let's freaking go. Good morning. Well, I doubt it's morning for you. Well, it might be. I don't know. Whenever you're watching this. A couple of things. I've got some little printing defects that I'll have to kind of touch up and fill. Probably the biggest problem that I'm going to have to deal with is the two halves of my receiver, the handles, right? Due to some skewing and stretching and things like that with a print, there's a little bit of a misalignment. Not a lot, but enough that I'm going to have to kind of definitely tidy up some edges. And then once this is clamped and glued, you can see here, we have a bit of a misalignment along this back edge. You can see probably that lip there, which we're gonna have to kind of fine tune. As far as paint job goes, I've done a couple of tests. I primered it with this black here, but the color is almost burgundy of the actual piece in the show. Doesn't quite look like it in the show per se, but it does look like it in the actual reference photos. It's kind of a brown burgundy color. Got this leather brown. I think it's gonna work well for the grips, which seem a little bit more wooden, but I am gonna use a kind of a red base coat with a black overtone to try to get that kind of burgundy color. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. All right, fresh tube of E6000, and hopefully this should be plenty strong enough to keep this thing together forever. I'll probably use a little bit of CA glue to help me lock some things in place. Got some little clamps, get this thing clamped together as lined up as I possibly can get it. So let's go for it. So we're just gonna let this dry up. We'll come back maybe later this afternoon, maybe tomorrow morning, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, been about 8 hours since I clamped this thing up, and I'd like to see how it turned out. Also, I threw a light dusting of that leather brown on the handle grips, and they look pretty good. I think that should do the trick. I'll probably just do a little bit of weathering and all that kind of to make them look even more weathered. But let's get this sucker unclamped and see how it turned out. So far, so good. Pretty okay. But as you can see, if you're looking here, this edge doesn't want to line up down here on this bottom corner. I'll do some surfacing to get that nice and flat, this nice and flat, but that really is the main spot. So that's gonna take a little bit of refinement to get that dialed in, but that's what we're here for. So I'm gonna sand this down, start sanding this down, seeing what our gaps look like on the inside, and keep going. Let's go, assemble. Assemble! So I've sanded this all down pretty nicely to where it's all kind of uniform. I think we should be good to go. I had to do some filler with some resin and some CA glue and things like that, but I'm gonna go hit this with another coat of the black primer, and I'll be right back. Reprimed that kind of receiver section, and so now I'm gonna kind of start working on assembling the barrel assembly, front half of the gun, and that's gonna be just a few pieces. So main piece here, main body, our kind of front little nose piece pops right on, and then this assembly, the actual maybe magazines or something. These guys go together like so. I have 4 of these kind of half moon pieces, pop right in like so, but I have to assemble this around this center rod so it actually rotates, which will be cool. And then we're getting really, really close. The only thing that I think I want to do before I do that is do the base coat on this. I did do a test here, hold on. A bit of a test just to see color-wise here, and I think it looks pretty good. This is just me misting a black 3D print reject with some of this kind of burgundy red, and then a little bit of black, and I think with that, it should be all right. So we'll see. Let's try. We're gonna be assembling this bit here, okay? Literally, it's just gonna get glued right on. Gonna be super simple, easy peasy. We do have this kind of reference pin here, and it's gonna clamp right on. I think I will use some E6000 plus some CA glue, and then I will put some clamping pressure like so. So let's wing this thing. Let that set up. I'm gonna just hit it with a little bit of activator on the spots where I used the CA glue, and I'm gonna leave that sucker clamped up. Now on to the next. Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Got a bunch of stuff to work on, but we've got a giant freaking mess here, so we have to do a little bit of movie magic and clean this really quick, okay? So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Movie magic. As I was saying, we've got some stuff to unclamp, etc. Oh shit, that's hot. Okay, we got our piece here that we clamped up yesterday. Let's unclamp it. Very cool, very cool. A little bit of squeeze out will clean up, no big deal. I think we'll be able to get that with a razor blade and actually not have to do a whole lot of work. Awesome. Also, this guy, still a little tacky because I just put another little coat on. As you can see, I used a custom technique I created, aka I spray a little bit of one color and then I spray a little bit of another color, and then I go back and forth until it looks like the color that I want it to be. Patent pending, trademark, I don't know. I think it looks good. I think it's actually kind of the color tone that we're looking for. Also, you know, it's a little one-dimensional at the moment, even though I kind of use 2 different spray paints to do that. When we go back in with the washes and the dry brushes and all that kind of highlights and all that stuff, it's gonna look, I think. So I think that's the tactic I'm gonna go for, so we can just keep moving on without doing so many tests. Once I hit that, we're gonna move on to the next part. Heck yeah, dudes. I mean, that's coming together nicely. So we can assemble a few more bits. And in reality, this whole main body, lower receiver, barrel assembly, this top cap piece that goes here, the trigger guard, that can kind of go on now. So let's do it. It always feels like it's too early. I'm gonna miss some things with some paint first. I think it'd just be easier. Hold please. Claret wine. I'm gonna hit him with that and we'll be right back. Let's assemble this thing a little bit, okay? Let's start putting these two pieces together. The other ones are still kind of drying a bit. So I'll put the alignment pins in, CA glue those in. I'm gonna use a few drops, I think, of E6000 and CA glue mostly for this part, just because I don't want to squeeze out anymore now that I've kind of painted. First thing I'm gonna do is do a little dab of CA glue into each one of these alignment pinhole things, like so. And now we're gonna CA glue everything. Before I did this, I scuffed up these surfaces. Some pressure. My manpower for a second. Hold this. Do a little bit of accelerator. Squeeze again. Should about do the trick. A little bit of squeeze out there, but you won't see that. Look at that. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're talking. All right, so there's a piece that goes right here. That's next. Let's grab that. Here we are. Just hit that with a little bit of the kind of red and black treatment that I did. Slots on like so. I want a little bit of a gap there. All right, that looks extremely okay. Grime is going to be our friends to hide our crimes here as we go along. Next, trigger guard. Put a little bit of CA in the pin opening. A dab of CA there. A little bit of CA on here. And we pop that pin in there. Pop that sucker in there. That didn't want to go. That did not want to go, but it went. Beautiful. We are looking pretty good. Let's throw on our handle. A little bit of E6000 in the middle, CA glue on the outside, and I'm gonna clamp them up. Clamping pressure, finger pressure. Do your job, CA glue. Nurse, clamps please. Oh hell no. E6000 coming out the booty. Not ideal. Clamp it, clamp it. More clamps, where are the clamps? All right, so we've got her clamped up pretty nice. Now, let's finish our barrel assembly. Or I guess this is kind of our magazine, right? So this part is gonna go in, and this literally is the last piece. It's time. It's time to weather this thing. Here's the best part. It's the best part. It's my favorite part. Oh my God. We are ready. We are gonna wash this sucker. I'm gonna dry brush. I'm gonna use rub and buff. In a few short minutes, this is gonna be a pretty serious prop situation, okay? So as you can see here, we've dry brushed the handle with a couple of shades of lighter browns to kind of bring that out. And then we've black washed, brown washed. So we are ready. Ooh, that's nice. Jesus. We are ready to start using some rub and buff, I think. Spanish copper. I also have a lighter antique gold, which I can add in there, as well as a silver. We're gonna do a couple of the silver pieces. So the reference image I have is really from this side. So this section here needs to be silver, as well as this little guy right in there needs to be silver. Cassian Andor's blaster is complete. Love the whole process. Let me know what you thought of the process. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know what you thought of the actual prop itself. Let me know what you thought of Cassian Andor's TV show Andor on Disney Plus. Did you like the show? I liked it. Let me know what your thoughts. We can chat about it. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, because I'm gonna have more videos coming out. I'm trying to get around to making more videos more frequently. I got a crazy schedule. I mean, literally right now it's 4 in the morning. I'm working on these things. I gotta get up. I gotta get excited at 4 in the morning for you guys. So I'd like to get more videos out to you quickly. So please subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. Before we get to the glamour shots, did you like the video? Did you comment? Did you subscribe? All right, checked all those boxes. Let's get to the glamour shots. Hit it.